Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, can you imagine how much Fauci hates Ron Paul? Yesterday, if you missed it, Ron Paul grilled Fauci. And one of the angles that he took was there is now information that Collins and Fauci at the NIH wanted to go after a Stanford doctor, a Harvard doctor, and I forgot where else, 3 great smart doctors, and smear them rather than debate them on the issues. And then Fauci got his tip. See, it's like Joe Biden. You don't realize this, folks. Joe Biden is a mean, nasty man. Fauci's a mean, nasty man. And it comes out when the right buttons are pushed. For example, caught a hot mic, calling Senator Marshall a moron yesterday. This guy, he tries to act like he's this little gentle guy. It's all bullshit. Anyway, Fauci tried to play the card of, you stir it up and then I get death threats and attacks on my family. Trying to play that wimpy card. Like every public official doesn't have to endure that, myself included. And he's saying it to a guy that got tackled off his lawnmower by his neighbor and was at the softball field when shots were fired and was walking, I forgot where it was, he and his wife were accosted. I mean, Ron Paul has suffered actual violence, not threats of violence. But it's just so clear that Fauci's a complete fraud. And he just shifts his little game, and there's never any consequences about Fauci. And who's the one person that's been there from day one? Fauci. Then we had Senator Cruz nailing these FBI people. Do you believe that an FBI agent testifies by Zoom? That an FBI agent can't come into that Senate chamber? That's the first thing that bothered me. But when they get grilled about the FBI's involvement in January 6th, can't answer the questions? What? I mean, that is incredible. We know the FBI participated in the Whitmer kidnapping, and we pretty clear now that know that they participated in the January 6th insurrection. And that Epps guy. I mean, you had Kissinger, one of the Republican stooges on the committee, saying Epps is just somebody that attended. What bullshit? They got people under arrest and going to jail for doing less than what that guy is captured on camera doing. And then you have them not turning over all the information out of Pelosi's office, the Capitol Police office, Washington, D.C. office. It's truly amazing. It's just another anti-Trump bogus committee. They never tire of it. I mean, can you imagine the FBI not being able to just say yes and no? That's all. Terrible. Joe Biden, down in Georgia yesterday, he had another one of those. You know, he's claimed to be shot at, arrested, all these everything. He caught himself, but only after about saying he'd been arrested. This guy was going to claim that he's got arrested as a civil rights person. He's unbelievable. These folks are so phony, fraudulent. You know, there's an old saying that there's nothing more credible than being yourself if you're speaking. As a trial attorney, I can tell you that's true. As a politician, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, all of these characters are so staged, so coached. Trump's authenticity, being who the hell he is, playboy billionaire with success that's rough and tumble, no coaching him. Why did it resonate? Because of its legitimacy, its transparency, its authenticity. Meanwhile, you have Abrams standing up, good old Joe. And this woman is running for gangster, and she's, I mean, gangster. She is a gangster. Running for governor of Georgia, full-blown gangster. I mean, biggest gangster of it all when it comes to the voting stuff. They're running from Joe Biden. Hysterical. And then what does Joe Biden do? The same old race card. As I posted yesterday, I get so tired of the platitudes that these politicians use. Joe Biden saying this Voters Act, which is just a fraud act. It's a fraud act. No voter ID, illegal aliens, mail-in ballots, you don't have to sign them, on and on and on. It's a voter cheat act. And they act like this is the moment. You know, they act like it's the same as JFK going to the moon, or the real Civil Rights Act, or the real Voting Rights Act. It's hysterical. And what's he do? He said this: if you're not for this, you're a racist. You're not for this, you're Jim Crow. It's unbelievable. Race, race, race. I can only hope that beginning in 2022 and then in 2024, we finish these son of a bitches off. I mean, it's unbelievable. Then the senile old bird called Kamala Harris President Harris again. President Harris. And how bad does it have to be that there is serious talk? Wall Street Journal did a story about it yesterday. A possible Hillary comeback. Can you imagine how giddy she is? Oh my goodness. Came out Secretary Cardona, Education Secretary, is under attack. Remember that letter from the National School Board saying that they wanted to label all these parents who came to these meetings as terrorists? Turns out the Secretary of Education requested such a letter. Requested such a letter. I'm telling you, just evil, bad people. These are bad people running our country, folks. Bad people. Congress and masks. You know, it's hysterical. There's a Democratic woman saying that she wants the Republicans who don't wear masks to be isolated somewhere in the chambers. Again, we have sports arenas filled to the brims every weekend, every week. But these people who are all vaxxed and boosted and everything else are worried about the mask. I mean, they do not mind being absurd, looking absurd, being goobers, goofballs, idiots, evil, clowns. Every adjective, every adverb, every noun that you can think of needs to be laid upon these people. Do you believe that Nancy Pelosi's husband not only bought stocks, was buying options? Those of you that aren't really familiar with this, buying an option is you bet whether a stock's going up or down. And you know what? Who knows more about these issues than the Speaker of the House? What bill's going to impact that? Kevin McCarthy claims that he wants to maybe ban stock trading for members of Congress. Would that be too much to ask? We now have in this country, and I posted about this too yesterday, and I know you know this, but I'm just going to repeat it to emphasize it. We now have a situation where we want ID for voters. And in America, if you're an American citizen, you expect to have an ID for a voter. But the American Communist 10 are okay with illegal aliens, non-American citizens, not having an ID. That is like, really? Really? I mean, that, again, absurdity. Then you have a situation where they want us to be vaxxed, so show proof of vaccination, and then you got illegal aliens that aren't vaxxed, don't have to be vaxxed. And, I mean, what? Again, these positions that are just absurd, beyond absurd. Last but not least, and maybe I should have put this first. The USA Today had a little op-ed yesterday where they considered pedophilia inappropriate. Not evil, inappropriate. The Democratic Party is the party of sexual deviancy. Epstein, Clinton, all of them, Weinstein. I mean, Hollywood. It is sicko. Just inappropriate. And let me tell you something, folks. I have gone on the record. I mean what I say and say what I mean. Now, things that be put in context, and I do evolve. In other words, an opinion that I had 10 years ago, I may not have today. But an opinion that I've had 10 years ago, 5 years, and now might shock you, but here it goes. I'm running for governor of Kentucky. I'm going on record right here and now, and I'm telling you that I believe anyone who is convicted of molesting sexually a child. In other words, there is clear proof that they destroyed that child's innocence through physical, sexual touching, violation, rape, whatever that is. And we can have a standard of certainty. In other words, I don't want somebody falsely accused. I mean, there's some kind of standard. We have to work on the details. But we know for certainty that happened. Death penalty. Death penalty. I don't understand how people who destroy a child's life gets a few years, 5 years, 10 years. What? I'm for the death penalty for convicted pedophiles. I am. The destruction of innocence of a child, what's worse? It's worse than a cold-blooded murder to me. Unbelievable. That's how I feel about this. I'm for the death penalty. The USA Today says it's inappropriate. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope you have a great day.